Hi, my name is Dave. I'm your host. You're listening to The Last Podcast, where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you for finding the show. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate you listening, and I hope you continue to find tips, ideas, and value from listening to this podcast. Today, I want to talk a little bit about grief, but before we do, there is a message I want you to hear. We'll be right back right after this message. Hi, my name is Dave with The Last Podcast. Have you ever heard of Impact Health Sharing? Impact Health Sharing is an affordable alternative to traditional health insurance. Impact is a caring community of people who share in each other's medical bills, and is for anyone interested in sharing, acting responsibly together, and saving on healthcare. For more information, click on the link in the show notes that reads Impact Health Sharing. This is David with The Last Podcast. We'll see you soon. Like I said earlier, I want to talk about grief. And the reason why I want to talk about grief is as of tomorrow, my wife would have passed. It would be 2 months. And I am still feeling the pain. I am still feeling that loss like if it was yesterday. So we don't know how long the grieving process is for any given person. I think it's different for all of us. And I think we all grieve in our own different ways. So I just wanted to talk about the natural stages of grief and the impact that it has on some individuals like myself. It's just a simple conversation that I want to have because I know that grieving is a difficult thing. And for me, I have not only lost one family member, I have lost several family members within a 3-year time period. So in that 3-year span, I've lost my uncles, 2 uncles, my stepbrother, I've lost my sister, my aunt, and my wife. So, and my wife would, as of tomorrow, is 2 months. So it's very difficult because you feel so lonely, and I feel like I'm the last person in my family, which in my immediate family, I am the last person standing. I just wanted to talk about several stages of grief that at least I know I go through, but I'm quite sure there are a lot of other people who go through the same thing. We go through different stages and the different impacts that it has on us. Some coping with grief in their own way, and that's fine. However you can deal with it and deal with it in a healthy manner, that is the best thing that you want to try to do. Deal with it in a healthy manner. And sometimes I feel that I fall short in that aspect because I know grief is a natural and a complex response to loss, encompassing a range of emotions such as sadness, anger, confusion, even physical sensation. Understanding the grief as a normal process allows us as individuals to validate our emotions and find a healthy way to cope with it. And not only are you feeling those sensations, but lonely. Not only you're lonely, but sometimes hopelessness. Sometimes a person can feel hopeless, being that they with a person for all their life and 40, 50 years or whatever the case may be, and all of a sudden, boom, they're no longer there. That's like a cultural shock almost. It's like, I don't know what to do in that instance. Sometimes you have like this cloud that comes over you, and sometimes you feel lost. So all that I know I feel. It's like a hurricane of just a sea of emotions that just swarms over you. So those are the things that I realize I feel, and even denial, bargaining, depression. We go through all of those things. However, it is important to recognize that grief does not follow a specific path. And I was trying to figure that out. I was trying to figure out, am I going to go through several different stages of grief, and am I going to go through them all? And if so, which stage do you go through first? But I realize grieving, they're the stages that you go through, they basically don't be in order. Because one minute you could feel sad, one minute you could feel lost, and one minute it could just feel like nothing but a fog is over you. And one minute you can just be happy and the joy and the memories that you had. And the next minute you could be angry that you're the only one here. And it's just a sea of emotions. So I know it's different for everybody. I'm talking about it because it's difficult for me. I find it very hard. And when I'm not podcasting or when I'm not talking to somebody about my wife, I'm in my room sometimes. And when I look at the room that we shared at one point, I'm saying to myself, wow, I can hear her voice. I can see her walking. I can almost smell her scent. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to get up and I have to get out the house for a moment. So grief can have this profound effect or impact on an individual's emotion and physical well-being. It may manifest as fatigue. It may even change your appetite, sleep disturbances, difficulty concentrating, or heightened emotional sensitivity. Recognizing and addressing these aspects, I can't tell you. You have to know what you're going through. And if you don't, you just got to seek guidance. You got to seek help. You know, what really helped me also was reading the Bible, learning about grief, reading books on grief. And I'm telling you the truth right now. This is basically what I was doing. Reading a ton of books on grief, reading stories of people who have gone through something similar. There are various coping strategies for all of us, but those coping strategies can be different for everybody. You can go seek help, support from a loved one. You can go to groups. You can engage in self-care or activities, something like that. For me, I journal and I podcast. If you don't do journaling or podcasting, you got to find something that will engage you, and I mean thoroughly engage you for a period of time, and so you can practice. Even a little meditation can help. So after all is said and done and the dust clears, if none of those things seem to be working, it's time to seek professional counseling and therapy, because there's no shame in getting professional help. There's no shame in talking how you feel. Cultural and social aspects of grief is from different backgrounds, ethnic groups. Grief is influenced by cultural or social contexts, with different cultures and societies have unique rituals, beliefs, and mourning practices. Understanding these cultures and social aspects can provide insight into how individuals express and cope with grief within their own specific communities. It doesn't matter where you are. Grief is grief. You're going to experience it. You're going to feel it. So if you can't handle the grief that you feel, the loss that you feel, recognize that it's natural. It's natural. You're going to feel it. And sometimes grieving can be so complicated. And for some individuals, grief may become complicated, leading to prolonged distress and impairment in daily functioning. Even recognizing the signs of complicated grief, such as intense or prolonged grief reactions, and seeking professional help from therapists or grief counselors is crucial in these areas. And I talk about it because one of the reasons I thought that, okay, it's 2 months that has passed by. How long will I keep grieving? But then when I look, it's been 3 years since I've lost my sister, and I'm still grieving the loss of her. But I'm okay. I'm okay because I can talk about it now. My wife is just exploded, because my wife and my sister were the most influential women in my life and the closest thing to me. So their loss not only impacted me in a way where I just was not ready for it, even though I know that they were gravely ill, it impacted me in ways that I've never thought I could be impacted. So I do know that sometimes it's time to get that help that you need. Seek help from family, friends, counselors, wherever you can get it. Supporting someone, if you even know someone who is grieving, supporting someone is grieving requires empathy. It requires listening. It requires the validation of their emotions, being present for them and with them. So, if you know someone who is grieving, be there in the moment for them. Understand, hold them. If they need to be held, hold them. So while the grieving process, from what I've been reading, is a process that basically never goes away. So you're going to always grieve, but it becomes a healthy grieving after a while too. So, I mean, you're going to miss them. You're going to be able to talk about them. You're going to be able to look at the pictures, and sometimes you will cry. Sometimes you'll cry in joy. Sometimes you cry in the pain of the loss. But it'll dissipate. That pain would lessen. It would mitigate. So I do know that. And I'd be driving down the street and I can hear a certain song and think of my sister or my wife, and next thing I know, I have to pull over because I have so many tears in my eyes. I can't no longer safely drive on the road. I have to wait until I've cleared my eyes and I'm not crying anymore. So grieving, it's not an easy thing. Grieving is a process. It takes time. Give yourself time. So I know, and without a shadow of a doubt, I know I'll be all right in several months, maybe in a year from now. But I'm going to keep on going. And I know that's what they would want from me. They would want me to keep on moving forward, no matter what, no matter how hard it is. You have to put one foot in front of the other. Get up and take one day at a time. So, my name is Dave. You're listening to the last podcast where the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I hope this message resonated with somebody who is going through the grieving process. And if it does, you can contact me at the last podcast 443 at gmail.com. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, and